Hey there, everyone. Honestly, just felt like making a video because life has not cooperated the past few weeks to make that a reasonable thing for me. Just wanted to say I'm still here. I'm just busy with other things, and I'm sure I'll end up making some more exciting content in the future. At the moment, it looks like about one or two videos a month is about what I'm going to make time for. Appreciate anyone who's watching. With that said, as far as why I was inspired to make the video, I was talking with one of my buddies on Facebook, and was reminded of one of my favorite. I tend to think of it as being within mythology. I know for other people it's within their holy book. That's great, but that's the story of Cain and Abel. And just a short refresher on the bare bones of the story. Basically, God, which again, from my perspective, we can say Ganon, God of nature, nature, any way you slice it. Man upstairs is like, hey, this is what I require in terms of sacrifice. And if you do the sacrifices that I instruct you, that's what's going to work. That's what is going to get you what you're after, which is to please me. Because why wouldn't you want to please the guy in charge, right? And because he can bless you, like everything is going to be under, coming from that direction, right? So, um, of course, Abel is that's he's predisposed towards raising livestock already. That's what he does. And so when God demands a sacrifice of livestock, then he's, oh, that's cool. I make livestock. Here's some of my best livestock, just like God demanded. There you go. Go through the motions. We're good. Keep being prosperous, right? And Cain, unfortunately, he was a farmer, and God didn't command like, "Hey, I need you to sacrifice a bunch of, fruits, vegetables, grains," because that's what Cain had to sacrifice. That was just his. So obviously, at some point or another, it's like, "Hey, wait a second. It never said that Cain tried offering unto Abel like fruits and grains and vegetables and whatever in exchange for what God demanded was to be sacrificed from him. So, I mean, Cain had a way of getting it done. Cain could have done his thing and then, negotiated to trade with Abel to get what it was that God required as a sacrifice. And kind of the leftist perspective on that would be, well, that's not very fair. Like, why is it, like that's, hey, like Abel can give what Abel makes. Why can't Cain just contribute, can't sacrifice what Cain has, right? Yeah, but that's the whole point is that if accomplishing something takes sacrifice, then you know, it takes a specific sacrifice for a reason because it's not literally a principle of, oh, you got to wreck something to please whatever. That's a great metaphor, but the reality is actually one of, oh no, you need to get the materials that are required for the next step of things to happen, as well as the situation that allows those materials to come together to manifest in the thing that you want to manifest. You have to set up the conditions for that to happen. You have to bring the pieces together. And of course, the source of all things, of course, is God. And on that level of reasoning, again, whether it's a literal or a metaphorical belief, on that level of reasoning, like, yeah, you're literally just giving a kickback to God, like symbolically giving back some of what he's given to you, right? So let's start there. Like, if you have any lick of gratitude for existing and being in a world to have the experience we have, like, let's start there. Give a little kickback to the man in charge. That makes sense. Okay, well, the flip side, of course, is, yeah, but what about all the people that are like, oh, yeah, I'm totally from God and I'm going to tell you what it is that God wants you to give me, which is a way of giving it to Him? You know what I mean? No. So, regardless of where you come down on that debate, the point of the story though is very much that you cannot just like, you know, give up whatever you have in some way, shape, or form, and certainly not just literally destroying it, and calling that, oh look, I sacrifice. It's like, no, no. Whether you think there's God sending the message, or it's nature that looks like God sending a message, whatever your belief is there's obviously messages that come back from existence about, well, you did what? Well, here's what you get. And sometimes that doesn't line up with what you want. And so we have in the tradition of this story, we have God literally handed you on a silver platter through some sort of divine revelation, hey, look, this way does it, this way doesn't. That way works, that way doesn't. And we're free to rebel against that, but to the extent that we keep doing things that don't actually lead to the outcomes that we're trying to manifest, we should expect, like in the terms of the story, the Lord was displeased. Okay, the point is what happens when nature is not satisfied with what it is that we're doing, whether you believe that there's a God behind those actions or not, when you do things that don't work with nature, nature tends to send some sort of pain, discomfort, sickness, death, something to put the brakes on what you're doing. And and the people that never really change course, like they usually just end up ended. They're not continuing in the universe, right? Okay, well, so there's a warning of sorts here too, which is if you're one of the people who actually gets it right, you took the signals on what works and what doesn't, and you followed them. You pursued them. You pursued the good. You pursued what works. Maybe even, you're generous enough to give some of that towards some people that are struggling. Maybe even whatever you're doing with your life there, you got to be careful because the ones that wanted to sacrifice something else, that wanted to do something other than what is required to get what they wanted, a lot of them are going to get bitter, and a lot of them, sensing that they have nothing to lose since they screwed up their own situation, might very well lash out at you. And I mean, hopefully it's not ending you, but you have to be careful because you never know when you get really distraught people that have just been doing things that don't work in their life for so long, and they aren't getting what they want out of life because they're not doing what would work to get them what they want. I mean, obviously, there's a level of self-protection that you're affording yourself when you help people like that figure out how to behave differently and get what they want out of life. But you can't help them all. Plenty of people are just going to continue to ignore you and do what the heck they want to do, without regard to what consequences it's actually going to bring them. So, anyways, just felt like delving through that real quickly here because, again, like I realized as I was telling my friend, I'm like, no, you know what? I think a lot more people should hear that perspective. And whether you're religious or not, I think that value is there, in realizing the alignment between, hey, the rules are, you do this, you're going to get this outcome. If you actually want a specific outcome, you don't get to choose what you're sacrificing. You get to choose whether or not to make the sacrifices that are going to get you the outcome you want, because whatever you put in, that's going to determine the outcome, not what you're wishing for as an outcome. Anyways, like I said, honestly, until my life starts being more cooperative, probably expect only one or two, YouTube videos a month. I appreciate anybody that takes the time. Take care.